I'm McFazden. I obviously have a theme to all of my photos. I am Chase the Moon, obviously. For me, photography is like 3 parts: the planning, the shooting, and the post-processing, and I love them all the same. But I do my photography for me. Like, printing and sharing is just kind of an afterthought. So like, getting these printed, Peter insisted I be here today. So getting my photos printed was kind of cool to see them.
Yes, thank you, Peter.
It's cool to see them printed. So, so planning, I love planning. Most like the lighthouse that Peter shown. I planned that event. There was 5 or 6 of us there. Sam was going to mention this. It's really cool to go out with a group of people and you're all photographing the same thing, and you come away with all different photos of the same thing. It was a very cool experience.
Wow.
And I taped it upside down. Also became an eclipse chaser. Try upside down for now. Traveled to Roswell, New Mexico for the annular eclipse, which is the one on the end. It happened the day after my birthday, so I told my husband we were going, whether he liked it or not. And so we drove down and shot that. He's a very patient man, thankfully. But yeah, all of my photos are at least 2 photos. Usually the foreground is 1 photo, and then either 1 photo of the moon, or obviously all of those are several photos put all together. They're all of them have been planned except for one. I'll see if you guys can figure out which one I did not plan. It's a surprise. Yeah, I don't know what to talk about. I love the moon. It's like, makes you realize how small we are compared to everything else.
So what is your planning schedule look like?
I'll do it weeks in advance. And I'll change my mind 7 times before I actually
Does it involve photo pills?
Photo pills, the photographer's ephemeris, and I'm actually in the process of creating my own app because neither of those have everything that I want. So that's a work in progress.
So, excuse me, where did the April 8th eclipse take place for you, geographically?
I was in Vermont. That's where I was supposed to be. That's where my Airbnb was. But the weather was iffy, so I just kept driving north. And I ended up in Rangeley, Maine. I was 20 miles from the Canadian border. And we just ended up at Rick Williams was actually met me there. So we were there together for that one. That's the center one over there. We were by ourselves when we got there. And then there was, a crowd when it happened. And then we were by ourselves at the end because no one stays till the end. But
Well, my closest friend, lives at the end of the table there. He was just talking to you. He drove about an hour and a half. I could have stayed at his house the night before. Rather, I flew to where my son lives in Austin, Texas, where the cloud cover was supposed to be twice as good as it was in New England, but it was right around twice as bad. So
yep, that's where I was originally
I'm still waiting for a full eclipse.
I was originally going to Texas. I had my Airbnb set up, and then like 2 days before, there was like the deadline of when I could cancel it and get my money back. I was like, okay, I'm not going. And I booked another one up in Vermont and just went. And I'm so glad I had my Airbnb and didn't have to travel home that day because I hear the horror stories of people. It took like 7 hours to get home. Yeah. So I was in Vermont for that.
Yeah, right. Route 93 from the North Country down was
Oh yeah.
parking lot.
That's what I've heard, yeah. But the only thing that I would say about that is like everybody was in such a good mood. Like you don't hear stories about the people like
No, the people
getting mad at each other. Like there was none of that, which was just awesome. So
half of Franconia, people were getting, because it's only a 1-lane highway out there, and
yeah.
people were getting a little annoyed.
Yeah. The one with Negan's son, that photo I've been wanting to take for probably 5 years. And it was just one day, it just finally lined up. And we were literally actually on our way for somewhere else. The comment was here. What's the name of the last comment?
Steve.
No. With an N, Neo-wise. I was actually heading down to the shoreline to photograph that and saw the moon coming up. I'm like, we have to stop. And so, no tripod. That's also 2 photos. But that was one I've been waiting to do for a very long time.
you find the eclipse? Was this your first eclipse? You find it very magical, very spiritual.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know
Sorry. Go ahead.
I've seen two, and I'm just amazed at the divine force behind it. You know, the moon is a very small object in the celestial sky compared to the sun, but the placement makes it exactly the same size.
Yeah.
And
400 times smaller than the sun and 400 times closer.
yeah, so why does it happen? And I start thinking about things like, well, if we didn't have the moon, how imbalanced would the Earth be? The water just walking around, because it kind of controls the ocean. So
Yeah.
I would encourage anybody that. I know this last eclipse, there were people saying, "Oh, you're nuts to chase that for 2 minutes." It's like you have no idea.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
no idea. So
I was up in Quebec for that one, and they had like an extra minute. I was up
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's also people that say you're crazy to try to photograph it your first time around. So did I hear that you say that was your first eclipse and you chose to photograph it quite successfully?
Thank you. Yeah.
Was
A
there?
lot of planning. I love planning.
So there was a lot of research that
researching
went in.
and I am looking. Yeah, I do a lot of that. I'm a nerd.
I've
I'm
seen
honestly
two
an astronomy nerd.
No,
so.
I mean I can lay claim to a planner. I made my living measuring every step I took.
There
So
you go.
I read an awful lot about how to go about that, but I also kept reading Don't Try to Photograph. I still had a camera stuck in the air at my son's house.
Yeah.
I got something with clouds going by it, but nothing. No
That's-
spiritual.
I've seen two eclipses and I chose not to photograph either one, and I'm very happy because, in my opinion, they all look the same. They all have a black thing and a orange thing, but I want to be in the moment. I want to experience it completely. Sound like a love child here, but for me, it really made a difference. And when I was in Quebec, it was just myself and my girlfriend on top of the hill. We were the only ones there. There was no crowd. We agreed not to talk. We were very silent. And it was totally magical. Best experience of my life.
Absolutely.
And then the next day, I didn't have traffic coming home from the radio today. All you suckers were driving stuck on 91. I was eating ice cream.
Well, Peter and Sam will tell you, for me, it's about the experience. That's like number one. Like if I get a photo out of it, that's great, but that's not like my number one.
But don't you
Just
feel,
first is just to be there.
don't you feel anxiety and stuff getting all, they want to get the picture of, doesn't that
No.
kind of take away? See, for me, it would take away because I'd be like, fiddling around with the camera. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, I think maybe because I plan so much, I don't
Right.
feel that anxiety. But even like for the solar eclipse, I still stop at peak and I say thank you. Whether I say it out loud, I say it in my head, I say it to the universe just to say thank you for that experience because the universe is granting us with that.
That's amazing.
So,
That is amazing.
So that's a series of exposures.
yes,
All singular exposures, or did you just
All
take one
singular.
side and put it on the other
oh
side?
no, you have to stay for the whole thing.
Oh no, I'm not saying you didn't stay.
Oh no, they're all different photos. Every single one is its own photo. Nothing's duplicated. I'm a purist as far as that's concerned. I'm honestly not a purist by photography. I lean much more towards art than photography, but I love creating it after the fact too.
So is it then fair to say that the diamond ring, as it begins, and the diamond ring ends in a different? I mean, that's the way it looks.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It does end differently. Oh, I guess it's
it's
some
moving.
crater.
It's on the other side of the moon.
Correct. So it's a different shape that
Mhm.
is. I got
Yes.
you. That makes sense.
Tim and I were in a large field in Colebrook, New Hampshire. And when we got to the field, it wasn't that full. And it started to get fuller, I should say, as the crowd, as the time was getting close. And there were a bunch of school kids in there because they closed all the schools in New Hampshire so the kids could witness this. And all of a sudden, you can hear them counting down 10, 9, 8, and the tension that you felt when it was happening. And then when it went to full solar eclipse, the entire place got silent.
Yeah.
You could
Same
hear a pin
experience.
drop. And I mean, it was fantastic. And then when it came out, you know, because we stayed to the very end until the sun came out all the way, there was this huge roar. The kids were all clapping and screaming. I mean, it was just
It's not the end of the
fantastic.
world.
It's such an experience. Like,
Yeah,
it's- you don't
and there-
understand it until you actually experience
And there was
it.
a digital photographer. He was next to us, and I was watching him. He was still experiencing the whole thing as he was clicking.
Oh, absolutely. Like I wasn't looking at my camera. Like I have a remote control, so I'm still observing. As
The second from the right is
Yes.
the one what you shot in range.
Yes.
today.
Yep.
So my question is, all the images of the eclipse,
Mhm.
is that the angle that it actually took, or did you take images of the moon at of the eclipse at different moments and then just add them into the base picture?
So I try to follow the path that it actually took.
Okay.
So that should be accurate. I believe it was coming down. Might not have been like a straight line like that, of course. It's probably
Okay,
more than the
so I
arch, but
guess
I try to keep it in
My
the
point
line.
is you didn't leave the camera set up and point in the same direction, just take a picture every so
No.
many seconds.
Well, I use a 600 millimeter to capture the moon and the eclipse.
Okay.
So then I reduce it onto my, I don't know, 24, 35.
So one image of the foreground and
Yes.
then a separate setup for the.
Yes, I always have two cameras going.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, all of my photos are always at least two because I want to capture more of the detail in the moon. So I use the 600 millimeter for that, and then I just reduce it to put it on the photo
Got
to capture the detail.
What other equipment do you use? Because I'm totally not, like, I've never done anything like this before.
I have my two cameras and two tripods.
What kind of camera?
I have Sony AR7R2 and a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I love them. I'm sure you love yours. I love it.
Yeah.
The other cool story I'll say is when we did the annular eclipse in Roswell, we were kind of high up in a park, and there was obviously tons of people there. There was tons of people down in the park, and they call it the Ring of Fire. So like when it was maxed, all you could hear in the park was Johnny Cash just echoing through the park. That was really cool. That was very, very cool. But, I've also was recently honored to be included with 77 women in this book here, women who are in STEM, one of 22 astrophotographers that were included in that, which was really very cool honor. So,
Did you see?
but my eclipses don't even like match what the astronauts just saw.
Yeah,
So
they
like
saw it.
that was amazing.
Eclipse.
Yeah, when you said there's a multiple exposures, I know the eclipse, but for the moon pictures, are they one exposure for the scene and then dim for the moon, or just plop the moon in?
Oh no, it's different exposures. Yeah, different exposures. Obviously, different focal lengths to get the detail. But that's what it looks like. My camera can't capture it all in one, so you have to do two different to get the like.
So two different cameras in that case too, or just?
Always,
Wow, huh.
always, because I always have my 600 millimeter on. I love that thing, and I obviously can't usually get the foreground with it, so I always have to.
So is it the Sony 600?
Yes,
So you could use it the 1.4 television.
I do have one.
But not for that lens? I mean, not for that usage.
No, I haven't tried it. I tried it once, and I wasn't sure I liked it, so I haven't tried it again. But I do have it.
Because it was too big, or because it slowed things
You
down?
don't quite get the same focus that you do because you've got the extra piece in there, and I'm kind of I zoom in and I do everything manual. And you don't quite get that sharpness when you have that extra piece in there.
Good to know.
So, yeah.
So like on these first three, the moon, for the foreground, the moon was probably super overexposed and bright.
Yes.
So I'm thinking your exposure for the moon, you almost had to like make it a little bit bigger to
Yes.
cover up that
Absolutely.
overexposed one. Oh.
Yep, absolutely. The moon is definitely bigger in almost all of my photos too for that purpose, to cover up the overexposure part. Which is why I say I lean more towards art than photography. Because I like creating what I saw in a photo, so it's not always exactly accurate in the photo. But anybody guess which one I didn't plan for?
Middle of the
The,
purple.
the one to the right of the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, the bridge one.
No, I think it's the bridge one.
Nope. This one right here, which is my absolute favorite. This one right here. Did not plan for that. I was at Nauset Beach in Cape Cod when I was doing bat eclipse, which is upside down, those lunar eclipse. And I was actually walking back to my car, and you have to go up and over a dune to get to the beach. And so like the fence is kind of up on a raised dune, and the parking lot's down below. And I was packing up my car, putting everything, I had everything in, and I turned around and was like, fuck. I took everything back out and set it all up again so I could get that shot, because it just was sitting right there, right? The only spot in the fence that was like bowed down like that, I'm like, it's too perfect to pass up.
That is totally perfect.
Oh, I love, that's one of my absolute favorite pictures, and it wasn't planned. I'm a planner, I love planning, so the fact that I didn't plan for that one just like blows my mind.
Adds to the story.
Some surprises are good.
Absolutely, absolutely, yep.
Yeah, we got through
I would not have gotten my moon and lighthouse shot if it wasn't for Allie, because she posted, hey, this is what's happening, we gotta go. Okay, and I don't plan.
Yeah, our whole group was there that day, that was really cool.
Yeah.
But Peter also printed one for me, the one that I have alternatively mounted on the wood. I like doing that kind of stuff. It's a piece of wood I found at Goodwill, and I used upholstery tacks to tack it to the piece of wood.
Very nice.
Very nice.